Hello and welcome to our first sort of CPD training. So today we're going to look at making some falafels, some flatbreads, and we're going to have a little go at finishing them off with a bit of mint and sort of coriander, lemon yoghurt with a little bit of crispy salad. So you'll find that these videos are posted on YouTube. There'll be 3 different videos. There'll be one on making falafels, one on making flatbreads, and one on bringing it all together. So hopefully by now you've all sort of got your sheet with your instructions on, and you've weighed up everything ready to sort of cook along with me, because we have only got 40 minutes, so we're just going to be cooking along. So I've got everything I need here to make my falafel. So chickpeas, you can either use tin chickpeas like this that have been drained and put into a bowl, so I've took out all the juice, or overnight you can buy some of these dried chickpeas, and these are just soaked overnight in some water with a little bicarbonate of soda. A lot of people prefer to use these sort of dried ones and soak them, but for speed and convenience we can just open our tin of chickpeas and then just mash them down a little bit like that. I'm just using a masher. Some people at home, you might have a food processor, so you could do this in a food processor. So if I haven't got a potato masher like that, I can use a fork just to mash them down and sort of like blend them down a bit. Yep, so and then just sort of blend that all down and mash them down. It's quite a laborious task, which is why a lot of people like to use a food processor. But I appreciate that most of you at home haven't got a blender or a food processor. And one of the problems with using a food processor is that if we're not really careful, what can happen is that we can end up with hummus. We can overblend it. So I'm just going to do that. Mash them down. This is quite good. This is quite, we're meant to be sort of like, stress relieving. So taking out all our stresses on a can of chickpeas is rather good fun. And that's what I've got now. I've got this mashed up sort of chickpeas here. I've mashed them all down with my potato masher, or the back of a spoon. Fork, sorry. There we go. We'll get rid of that. We're working nice and clean and tidy. So before I start making up my falafel, I'm just going to make up my yoghurt, because that needs time for the flavours to come. So I'm going to take my yoghurt. I'm just using a sort of natural low-fat yoghurt, but if you're a vegan, you might want to use some sort of alternative to a dairy product. So earlier I zested my lemon because I want some lemon zest into my falafel. So I'm just going to use that juice there now. Just going to use some of my juice. Just put that into my yoghurt. A good squeeze. So I'm using all my lemon. Okay. Give that a little stir. And those flavours are going to build up over time. So next thing I'm going to do is got some mint and coriander there. And I'm just going to run my knife through that. Just sort of chop it down. You might have yours already chopped. So, I did sort of set in the instructions to have things chopped all ready to go, so we're just putting it together. So I just thought there, just run through there. If you've got a small knife, it doesn't matter, or you can do it with some scissors. But these fresh herbs will have like really delicious flavours, the mint and the coriander. They're going to complement our lemon, and it will go really nice with the falafels in our flatbreads that we made. Put that on there. Make sure I get it all, because I've paid for it all, so I might as well use it all. Okay. So, just going to pop that to one side, and that's my yoghurt. So I'm just going to cover that. I'm just going to pop it to one side, and I'm going to pop it in the fridge, so it's out of the way. So now what we're going to do, we're going to look at making our falafels up. So my recipe for falafels has got some onion and grated carrot in it, which is in your instructions. So in this pan I've got some onion, very finely chopped garlic, and some carrots. And I'm just going to fry that just for just for about a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on with a bit of oil. I've been using this low fat oil. So I'm just going to put that in there. And in with that, I'm going to put some ground cumin. That's about a teaspoonful there, because they are quite a strong flavour. If I wanted to, I could use these seeds and I could roast them and I could grind them up. But most people tend to just use the dry powder. You know, it's a lot quicker. But what's really important is we start that cooking process off and we start to get those flavours. We want those smells to start to excite our taste buds. I've got the lemon zest that we talked about. I've got the salt. And I've got the remainder of my chopped coriander. And that's all going in with those chickpeas. And I've also got the 25 grams of plain flour. Right, so that's all on your recipe. All with the instructions for the pre-cooking. So hopefully you've all done that and you can sort of keep up as I go along. Okay, so once that's done, it's fried off for a minute or two. I just wish you could smell this now, because it's just like absolutely divine. You know, all the smells are there. Now, there's lots and lots of recipes for falafel. This is just a recipe that I've just been trying out at home. And what's really nice about it is that it's not just chickpeas. I've added in the carrot to it. Okay? You don't need eggs or anything in there. It should all sort of form up together. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to work this into a paste. If I wanted to, I have tried this recipe with things like parsnips, and the one that really came out nice was a beetroot one. I replaced the carrot with beetroot. So say traditional falafel, just the chickpeas, just the lemon, just the spices and the fresh herbs. But this just adds a new dimension to it, and also, you know, makes it a bit healthier. So that's just starting to come together nicely now. So that being done, what we need to do next is, I always get a little bit of water like this in a bowl. Little tip for you. And what I like to do is just stops it sticking to my hand. If I wet my fingers like that, I can then take my falafel, and I've got to squeeze this together quite well. So, you know, I am putting a little bit of pressure on there just to make these little balls like that. And then I just simply just flatten them out like that. And that's my falafel. I can go any size I want. And if I wanted to as well, rather than falafel, I could do a big burger out of it. I could turn it into a big burger. Yep, so I'm going to make these up. Just like that. It's nice and simple. So, there we go. And that's our falafel made. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop the video just for a few seconds, and then I'm going to set everything up, and we're going to have a look at cooking these and putting them together. And that'll be the sort of second video that we're going to look at today. So thank you very much. So get on with your falafels now, and then while I make up mine, and then we'll sort of, like, you know, come back and look at the next, put them together in about 5 minutes.